Hello, third graders. This week we're going to read different versions of Jack and the Beanstalk, the fairy tale. This Jack and the Beanstalk that we're reading today is by the brothers Grimm. Once upon a time, there lived a poor widow who had an only son named Jack. Times were hard. Most of their furniture had been sold to buy bread. Now they had only their cow to sell. She gave milk every morning, but one sad day the cow gave no milk. "We must sell the cow. Trust me to make a good bargain," Jack said. On his way to the market, Jack met a butcher. The butcher was a friendly type and asked Jack what his business was. Jack told him that he was off to sell their cow. The butcher smiled and said he would make a great bargain with Jack. The butcher quickly pulled out 5 curious-looking beans. He told a curious Jack that the beans were the most wondrous beans in the whole world. He said, "If you plant them overnight, by the next morning they'll grow up and reach the sky. I will trade them for that cow of yours." "Done!" cried Jack, who was so delighted with the bargain that he ran all the way home to tell his mother how lucky he had been. His mother, however, was very disappointed and so angry she threw the beans out the window into the garden and sent poor Jack to bed without any supper. When he woke up the next morning, the room was almost dark. Running to the window, Jack saw the sun was shining brightly, but beside his window there was a giant beanstalk that stretched up and up as far as he could see into the sky. He went outside to get a better look. "I'll see where it leads to," thought Jack. So he stepped out of the window onto the beanstalk and climbed up and up. Finally reaching the top, Jack found himself in a new and beautiful country. He saw a great castle with a broad road leading to the front gate. As Jack drew near to the huge castle, he saw a giant's wife standing at the door. "If you please, ma'am," said he, "would you kindly give me some breakfast? I have had nothing to eat since yesterday." Now, the giant's wife, although very big and very ugly, had a kind heart. So she said, "Very well, little man, come in. You must be quick about it, for if my husband, the giant, finds you here, he will eat you up, bones and all." The giant's wife gave him a good breakfast, but before Jack had half finished it, there came a terrible knock at the door. It seemed to shake even the thick walls of the castle. "That is my husband," said the giantess in a terrible fright. "We must hide you." She lifted up Jack and popped him into an empty kettle. No sooner had the giant's wife opened the door than her husband roared out, "Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Where is the boy?" he continued. "I'll have him for breakfast." "Nonsense," said the wife. "It's the ox I am making you for dinner that you smell." So the giant sat down and ate the whole ox, but when he had finished, he said, "Wife, bring me my money bags." So the wife brought him 2 full bags of gold, and the giant began to count his money. But he was so sleepy that his head began to nod. Then he began to snore like the rumbling of thunder. Jack crept out of his hiding spot and snatched up the 2 bags. The giant's dog barked loudly, but Jack made his way down the beanstalk before the giant awoke. Jack and his mother were now quite rich, but Jack wanted to visit the giant's castle again. So while his mother was away at the market, Jack climbed up and up and up and up until he reached the top again. The giantess was standing at the door. However, she did not recognize Jack, as he was dressed in fine clothes. "If you please, ma'am," he said, "will you give me some breakfast?" "Run away," said she. "My husband, the giant, will eat you up, bones and all. The last boy who came here stole 2 bags of gold, so off with you." Yet the giantess kindly allowed Jack to come into the kitchen, and set before him a giant breakfast. So there was a great rumbling like an earthquake. The giantess had only time to bundle Jack into the oven when in came the giant. Once inside, the giant roared, "Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." But his wife told him he was mistaken. The giant ate, and then called out, "Wife, bring the little brown hen." The giantess went in and brought out a little brown hen. She placed the hen on the table. "Lay," said the giant, and the hen at once laid a golden egg. He commanded the hen to lay 3 more golden eggs, and it did. "That will do for today," said the giant, and he went to sleep. Once he was snoring, Jack snatched up the hen and ran. Then the hen crackled, and the giant woke up, but before he moved, Jack had escaped and was home safely. The little brown hen and the golden eggs made Jack and his mother richer than ever. Still, Jack was always thinking about the beanstalk. One day he crept out the window again and climbed up and up and up and up until he reached the top. This time Jack crept around the back of the castle. When the giant's wife went out a moment, he slipped into the kitchen and hid in the oven. In came the giant, roaring louder than ever. "Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread." But the giantess said she had seen no boy, so the giant sat down to breakfast. When he had finished eating, he called, "Wife, bring me the golden harp." So she brought in the golden harp. "Sing," said the giant. The harp sang the most beautiful song. It sang the giant to sleep. Jack seized the golden harp, but the harp called out. The giant woke up and saw Jack running out. He dashed after Jack, holding the harp tightly. Jack ran as fast as he could. The giant chased close behind Jack, climbed down the beanstalk. So did the giant. Jack called out, "Mother, bring me the axe." His mother did. Upon reaching the ground, Jack cut the beanstalk in two. Down came the giant with a terrible crash, and that was the end of him. No one knows what happened to the giantess, but Jack and his mother lived happily ever after.